Once again, thank you for joining us. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language. Now, to start off with our top story, Parliament recently asked the Minister of Internal Affairs, General Jeje Odong, to explain circumstances surrounding the rampant wave of kidnaps. Now, in a rebut statement to the parliamentary summons, General Jeje Odong noted that investigations were still underway to establish the whereabouts of 31 out of 44 kidnap cases reported so far. However, in the twist of the event, President Museveni and Commander-in-Chief of Uganda's armed forces is expected to address the country on the state of affairs. Now, UBC TV spoke to legislators on their expectations ahead of this address. Let's take a look.
I expect the President, His Excellency, to come out clearly and speak about the public outcry of the ongoing kidnap of Ugandans. As we move out there, people are crying. People asking themselves, people on tension. They're not living in peace. They want their president to come out clearly and really talk about it and reassure them.
We'd also want to hear from the president what measures he's putting in place to handle this matter. Because you see, it is the president ultimately who will give us the confidence as Ugandans that we are secure, we are going to be safe. We have gone through challenges. When the killing of women in Entebbe, he came out, he spoke, he assured people there will be stability, security will come back to normal, and indeed, that happened. So even in this situation right now, we are waiting to hear from the president.
What has happened? Because if it has been rampant, the Commander-in-Chief has more competent information.
And obviously we expect to hear from him a mention of what we see on social media, what has been going on in the country generally.
We have never had an election in which 100 people die. We've never had an election where you find people brutalized to this extent. I also want to hear from him where he's hiding our children, those that he has kidnapped.
Because sometimes people may feign kidnaps. Many people who participated in elections kidnap themselves sometimes, and then they show up afterwards. So you never know. I think that's what has been in the public domain. And also the release of new people who are arrested during elections.
I want also to appeal to all the dissenting views that they should actually understand that election is over, that there is a winner, and we should move on. They should actually plan for the development of their families, for the country.
It's the first time when we have had a peaceful election, and even after elections, the country is peaceful. You remember 2006, there was walk to work immediately after elections. Last elections, 2016, there was, I hear, food crisis, so people were demonstrating. But after this election, everybody is quiet and everybody is peaceful. I really thank Ugandans who kept this peace as well.
Hopes, thoughts and opinions of some legislators in Parliament of what tomorrow's national address by the President will be. Now, moving on, health workers at Mityana Health Center 3 have commended the outgoing Member of Parliament, also the Minister for ICT, Judith Nabakova, for changing the face of the facility during her tenure of service. Now, UBC made an inspection tour of Nabakova's projects ahead of her end of duty as woman representative for Mityana District.
Mityana Health Center 3, located in the heart of Mityana municipality, is estimated to be serving over 200 patients on a daily basis. A facility which initially had no ambulance, no bed mattresses and no delivery beds for pregnant mothers, and among other items, was almost a no-going zone. But ever since Judith Nabakova assumed the political representation powers of the district in the National Assembly, she extended her hand to give a facelift to the facility, and life returned to normal.
We were able to receive 2 delivery beds, which was a challenge before, when our mothers were, some of them were not able to deliver at once if there were 2 mothers at the same time. But at the moment, we are able to deliver 2 mothers at the same time because we are having 2 delivery beds.
The situations before was not good. But now the situation is good. We can deliver mothers like 3 to 4 a day. And we are managing them very well compared to the previous days.
At the time she assumed office, the hospital lacked a life-supporting machine, a matter she has since then worked on.
Before getting this machine, the situation wasn't all that good when you see patients with difficulty in breathing. But after receiving this machine, we have been able to cater for those patients.
The hospital often suffered from drug theft and expiration arising from the poor storage facilities, but she also worked tooth and nail to ensure that all this is addressed.
We thank our Honorable who has assisted us to give us shelves which have helped us to separate different types of drugs for easy work. We were storing them in boxes.
Many of the residents living here are in their elderly age, which makes them prone to suffer from high blood pressure diseases. This was also hard to get treatment as the facility lacked a proper and modern testing kit for high blood pressure.
Previously we had a small BP machine which is electronic, which is digital. I think it is here. And most cases is always sometimes getting some faults, batteries. But with the help of the Honorable, we are able to do it, to get the manual one, which is considered accurate, and it is really good and is working for us very well.
Nabakoba's exit as Member of Parliament for Mityana District remains a worry factor not only for her supporters, but for even health workers here.
But now we are going to miss her very much compared to the things she has done in Mityana.
Actually, he had promised to provide us with more computers to quicken our work. So we are still hoping that maybe you'll be able to provide us some computers. As you know, things these days are computerized, but we are having little computers to make our work easy.
If there are beds in hospital, those are already there. If there are mattresses, they are there. If there are ambulances, they are there. I'm not going to withdraw them. If there are chairs, if there are saucepans, they are there. A few things where we can get challenges, school fees, because if I don't have a sustained income, I may not be in position to pay for those I've been paying school fees for, because I've been using my salary from Parliament. So some of the projects may continue, others where physical cash is needed, it might be a little hard for me to continue with them.
During her tenure of service as Member of Parliament, Judith Nabakoba has championed the revamping of many health facilities in Mityana District, but now the question of sustainability comes in as she exits.
Even that I did not expect to lose an election, but when it happened, even before it happened, I said, God, give me the strength to continue, because I know I've been honest, I've been transparent, I've served diligently. Even if you move the entire district, they will tell you that the services I've offered in the last 4.5 years, no person in my district, in my region, has ever done what I have done in the last 4 years.
Robert Onyango, UBC News, Mityana District.
Faithful servant Judith Nabakoba. Now moving on, construction, renovation and rehabilitation works on the Old Taxi Park are expected to be complete by 4th March after putting the new infrastructures like toilets and waiting areas for passengers. Now during a tour to the park by the Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs and Kampala Capital City Authority to assess progress, Betty Amongi attributed the delays of construction to the place being a wetland. Let's take a look.
Construction works of the Old Taxi Park are at 70% to completion. Works to renovate this park, which is the largest and in the city centre, started on 7th May 2020 during the lockdown that was due to the outbreak of COVID-19. According to KCCA, the scope of the work was quite expensive, citing the drainage system that was in an appalling state and caused the park to flood during rainy season. Work to pave the entire park to put more levels was done by Sterling at 9.5 billion Ugandan shillings. This work was tasking given the fact that the land the park is seated on is a wetland.
Minister, this site underneath, I think it was originally a wetland. So underneath you would have clay, soils which are very, very soft. So there is quite a lot that we did underground. There had to be lock fill. We had to put geotextile membrane and then put more levels to reach this stage.
They estimated to complete this work in 3 months, but the COVID-19 situation was challenged.
COVID-19 situation, mobilization of resources and labor. At one time it was impossible to proceed at the right pace. But also rain, heavy rains, also caused some slack. So our completion date is now focusing on 4th March 2021.
The Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs and team from KCCA toured the old taxi park to assess the progress of the work. Betty Amongi said this park is used by 200,000 passengers and 25,000 people who operate various businesses. Her ministry and Kampala Capital City Authority has been receiving complaints of congestion in other taxi parks, where those that used to operate in Old Taxi Park relocated, and they are cognizant of the taxi industry.
So to reassure both the taxi fraternity and the country at large that many people had been doubting and suspicious that the park probably inside there's something else being constructed, or we are not going to earn it back to the taxi people, but we want to reassure you that this park will go back to the taxi fraternity for utilization.
This modern terminal, planned to replace the old taxi park, has capacity to accommodate 344 taxis. They are constructing walkways and putting an access control system. It is only taxi operators with PHV and those who possess route charts will be allowed to operate in this park.
Few weeks engage with the taxi people and the technical team to analyze how many taxi will come back here in the context of COVID-19. And the marking and the different routes, as you are aware, we've changed now. We are handling route system. So the technical team will start working with the team of the taxi leaders to start looking at how we can accommodate and how many taxis can be accommodated.
One of the challenges the taxi operators expect to meet in this new arrangement is the digital access control system. They, however, urge authorities responsible to develop an application for them to receive notifications.
Parking bagisazeesazeemu obutundu. Kati buli stage ebadde parking emmotoka zaayo nga 20 ne zibeera ku stage emu. Kitegeeza tekigenda kubeerawo. Nti bajja kuwa spacing egendamu emmotoka nga 6, emmotoka nga 10. Kitegeeza nti tugenda kuba tubabanja ebifo mwe tuwumuliza mmotoka zaffe nga tetunnabakola kinga zote zinnaba kutikka.
Kola emiryango gino nga giri digitalized. Motoka okuyingira mu paaka kijja kuba kikalubamu. Otunira luli oluguudo lwa Sebana Road okujja ku Ham. Tubadde tusaba oluguudo lwa Channel Street ne Nakivubo Muse bajjeko multiplex okubeera ng'esolooza ba driver ku lwa parking zigira zikolanga holding places.
Ugandan government received funds from the Netherlands government to carry out a feasibility study on the parking towers. In the new arrangement, hawkers are prohibited from operating in the park. I'm Nafka Farida in Kampala.
Long overdue, but at least that's something that public transport users are looking forward to in the next few weeks. In other news, Catholic priests have joined the former presidential candidate and NUP President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu to celebrate his 39th birthday at his home in Magere, Wakiso district. The Thanksgiving Mass was led by the Gayaza parish priest, Father Frederick Makanga, who preached honesty among leaders.
At around 9 a.m., spiritual leaders led by the Gayaza parish priest, Father Frederick Makanga, started a mass prayer service in celebration of the 39th birthday of the former presidential candidate, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. The function attracted members of parliament, the newly elected leaders from different districts, especially those who made it to leadership positions on the national unity platform ticket. Father Makanga, who preached against dishonesty among leaders, prayed for the celebrant to live a God-fearing life and be a servant leader in all his endeavors. Father Anthony Musala praised the fruitful life God has given to Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and tasked him to always live the truthful life while approaching daily challenges. While celebrating his 39th birthday, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu could not hide the pain of his missing supporters who are in detention over different charges. You inspire me a great deal, but not only me, you're inspiring abantu. He called upon religious leaders to always preach justice where it demands. Naye wakati mukutemula kw'abantu n'okutyoboola eddembe ly'abantu osanga nga bannaddiini batugamba mubeere ba mirembe. Tuli ba mirembe mukadde wange. In attendance also were artists who praised Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu for his inspirational experience. Muntu w'abantu omanyi otambulira wamu nabo yangamulo. That man got it. So mbade nkwebaza olw'okuba ffenna otukwatira wamu. Njagala kwebaza olw'ekyo totwawulamu nti ono ali kino oli ali kiri tweyawulamu nti ono star ate oli si star. Abdulnasir Lubwana, Lydia Chomukama, UBC News.
Happy birthday, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. And with that, let's take a short break and we'll be back with more news tonight, so stay tuned.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Yellow, how are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do. Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that We will go with you. That's why we say thank you, thank you, thank you, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN Mobile Money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Your safety while using electricity starts with having a certified technician to wire your premises. Do not use commute
socket. Chisaka, now that the wiring is complete, how do I get power?
No, I'll get you power in my own way. And you don't even have to worry about the bills. I'll bring them myself. Is your neighbor there?
She went to work.
Does she have power?
Yes, she has.
If your neighbor has power, you have power. Desist from illegal connections because they are not only dangerous, but could lead to prosecution and death.
Chisaka, what is this? Oh my God, I'm from Umeme.
I did not say Umeme. I am from Umeme. At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data. The biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news tonight here on UBC TV. Also streaming live on YouTube under the name tag UBC TV Uganda. We now take you to the world of business, where experts at Makerere University have challenged the Ministry of Tourism over neglecting cultural tourism, which has a greater potential of developing the sector than nature-based features. In this special research conducted, cultural tourism offers variety and provides travelers opportunities of exploring more of history and heritage. More details in this report.
The Ministry of Tourism Development Plan emphasizes nature-based tourism while paying less attention to the culture-based tourism. Makerere University, through research disseminations, recommends the documentation of specific history, heritage and cultural sites for effective marketing.
For example, now in Entebbe, there is a freedom tree. I don't know whether you know about it. They call it Omchogwedembe. But how many of us have gone to the airports and flown back here? But that freedom tree has got many stories around it. And if you develop those stories around that tree and many other places that you can visit, that can also encourage people to be interested in their own stories. And the other thing that we think is that there are people who know so much but do not involve them in this tourism sector.
The language used while packaging the tourism information also requires review to also attract domestic tourists instead of targeting dollar earners. The principal investigator for these findings, Dr. William Wagaba, emphasizes the marketing of local dialect for cultural visibility.
Attaching them to products that you offer. If you do a festival like the Rolex Festival, you can attach maybe a quiz for that one. You can also tell people to engage in stories they know about the monument you're talking about. These stories come from people, and every perspective can offer a variety.
The head Department of European and Oriented Languages at Makerere University, Dr. Edith Natukunda, identified varieties of tourist attractions which can supplement on the available nature-based tourist attraction for the development of the industry.
I hope that you are bringing findings which are going to enrich our millet. We need new products, We need new dishes. We need enriched millet for our younger generation, especially the younger generation.
Researchers appreciate Uganda's endowment with nature, but also calls for acknowledgement of the unique gifted culture. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
Now, farmers in Trans Nzoia County in Kenya are steadily shifting from commercial maize growing to sugarcane growing. In the last 5 years, thousands of large and small-scale farmers have ditched what they term as unprofitable and cumbersome business venture. Now, Charlotte Amuge reports the shift could have dire consequences to Kenyans since the country literally feeds the entire nation. Let's take a look.
Trans Nzoia County in the Rift Valley province of Kenya is known as the food basket of Kenya. For decades, the farmers here have commercially grown maize, which produces ugali or posho, Kenya's staple food. However, the trend seems to be changing as farmers are eyeing other lucrative agricultural produce.
We plant maize, wait for an entire year to harvest. Then government delays to open the cereal board and leaves us farmers at the mercy of the middlemen. So we end up selling our produce at very low price, and this makes maize farming a big loss.
The shift from maize growing to sugarcane farming is attributed to several factors. These include low market price, high cost of agricultural inputs, unpredictable weather, and government's failure to support the sector.
Ukulima ya mahindi imekuwa utumwa na serikali haingilika hadi kusaidia mkulima wa kawaida.
Maize farming in this county of Trans Nzoia is a form of slavery. It cannot benefit the small-scale farmer at all. If you calculate the resources and time we inject into it, you realize in the long run you're wasting your time. Secondly, government seems not to be bothered.
Most of the farmers say they are willing to return to maize growing if the systems are streamlined. But as for now, sugarcane growing is the in thing.
We are moving into subsistence farming of maize. We shall grow sugarcane commercially because it can at least help us improve our livelihood. A 90-kilogram bag of maize is about 1,500 shillings. The best price it can fetch in the market is 2,000 Kenyan shillings, which is still not worth our investment.
Embracing this new crop may be socially and economically favorable for the farmer, but for a country whose population is on the rise and whose appetite for ugali is insatiable, the long-term consequences could be dire.
People in Rift Valley as a whole deal with maize planting, but payment is not good. So they are shifting to sugarcane because sugar pays well. And people have to go where they think they are profiting because they have children, they have to feed them, they have to educate them, and this all because of money. And since the maize is not paying well, farmers are shifting to sugarcane for better profit.
So, what needs to be done to slow down this fast-moving tide?
I think once the government will discover that people are shifting to sugarcane because of payment, then they will do something, and still those farmers will come back to maize plantation because all the time they weigh where payment is better.
Zinafaa sheria za kulinda mkulima wa mahindi ziwekwe ili kuwe dhabiti.
Government should enact stringent policies to protect the farmer from exploitation. Failure to do so will result into more farmers in Trans Nzoia quitting maize farming.
Sababu tunajua Trans Nzoia ndio uti wa nchi hii kwa upande wa mahindi na chakula kwa ujumla.
Trans Nzoia County, which borders Uganda to the northwest, covers an area of 2,500 square kilometers and is largely agricultural with both large and small-scale maize, tea and dairy farmers, among others. As more and more farmers in Trans Nzoia County embrace commercial sugarcane growing, the country should be worried about food insecurity. Charlotte Amuge for UBC News in Trans Nzoia, Kenya.
And now in the world of sports, Uganda's national basketball team, the Silverbacks, have continued preparations for the Afro basketball qualifiers that starts next week in Tunisia. Uganda plays against Egypt, Morocco and Cape Verde, seeking just one victory for these games to play at the Afro Basketball Final in Rwanda later this year. Now, the team under the tutorship of George Galanopoulos and Monday Juruni has several players including Caesar Chizito, and who on debut is relishing the moment. Let's take a look at the details as John Barnes Sentamo shares with us.
How good you were or how good you are. So me finally being here, it's just a dream come true. It's just a good feeling, I could say. You don't get time to breathe. Like before you know it, breakfast, then training, then you have to do film. I'll say I relate so much to film because in India there is no session you could go for without watching film, because film just makes you see the normal mistakes you do on the floor. So it's just challenging a stage. At the same time, me, I'm just excited every day to get out there to get better and be ready when the day comes. You see all the plays we're doing. You have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to have an intention as to why you're there. So it's being on your toes every time you're on the floor. So it's a good thing. I'm learning so much, you know, mistakes here and there, but at the end of the day, those mistakes don't define me. The corrections are what define me. So I'm learning. You won't believe it, but it may be deja vu. You may not believe it, but every time I'd watch my guys go Egypt, every time I'll watch on TV, I will imagine myself there.
Ready for the Afro Basketball Tournament. However, allow me to take you back a little to the Trans Nzoia issue, where they are replacing sugarcane. I mean, maize growing with sugarcane. That's a similar challenge we're having in Jinja, in eastern Uganda. However, it's on the other way around. We are trying to reduce the amount of sugar we are growing to supplement it with other cash crops. I think a lot of people have been advising us to do that, us who come from the east. So that goes to say that, you know, one man's challenge could be another man's opportunity. Another man's opportunity could be one man's challenge. I see an opportunity there for cross-border trade, don't you think? Thank you for being a part of this bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, Mugalu Muhammad in sign language. Let's see you at 10.
Curious funeral services on behalf of the family of the late Constantine Hamujuni of Champoza, Kambuga, Kanungu district, announced the death of their beloved mother, Mrs. Rose Gacharo Hamujuni, which occurred on the 26th of January 2021 in London, UK. The body will arrive at Entebbe Airport on Sunday, 14th February 2021. There will be a service and vigil at the home of Joshua and Margaret Tumuhire on plot number 7B29 Hill Road, Entebbe, near K Hotel on Sunday, the 14th of February 2021 at 5 p.m.